right. Are men intimidated by a high value woman?
I'm gonna let Monty take that one first.
It depends on the man. Like, I'm the type of female, I know a lot of girls be like, niggas ain't nothing and niggas ain't this and that or whatever. But I think I treat people accordingly how they act. So I ain't gonna put all men in the same boat. But there are men that, if it's all depending on their mindset, like we were just saying. If his mindset's not there and he's insecure, if he doesn't have security within himself, he is going to be intimidated by a high value woman. And hey, I have intimidated a few of them. Absolutely. But that's not my fault that you lack something that you don't have.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I think there are men out there like that, but I also think there's men who's ready and they are prepared to have a high value woman by their side and ready to conquer the world together. So it's just really depending on the mindset of the man, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, that's dope. I love the word that you said, prepared. And I think a lot of times you see people out there in relationships and they're not prepared, whether it's financially, emotionally, mentally, because there's so many levels to the human needs. And if you're just not there, it's okay to stay at home and be by yourself and get it, because then you create bigger problems when you unprepared trying to get out there and date. So, son, all right, I want to hear your answer.
Yeah, kind of building off that, another word that I really liked that she said was insecurity. That goes hand in hand, obviously. But I think, I completely 1,000% agree. I think that you have to be secure within yourself as a man to deal with a high value woman, because, it's not even take the financial side out of it. A high value woman, one that I would go after is one that, really is confident and, who they are, where they want to go, very motivated, knows how to challenge and push me to the next level. And I think, depending on the women that you have been previously dating with, it can be a hard adjustment for you mentally to go from dealing with a woman, or really a girl, because not a woman yet, a girl, and dealing with girl tendencies, and then boom, you dealing with this woman that's on your lap, and you like, oh my gosh, I can't even, I can't, a lot of times I think a lot of dudes just want to put them in a kennel, and this ain't a dog, you know what I'm saying? And so for me, I think that's a struggle for a lot of men. I think we have to be very particular and very picky on who we decided to even have conversation with, who are we being intimate with, and obviously who are we going to have relations with. And I think a lot of it, like you said, is security, but then it also is, surrounding yourself with high value women as friends. But then if you are going to go out there and play a little basketball, I don't have any experience playing basketball. I'm an inside guy. But if you are going to play basketball, play with the right players.
That was good. One thing that I absolutely love that you said is it was almost like I'm interviewing. I'm being particular of who I allow to be in my space. And I think that is important for both men and women to know our value and understand who we are. We're not going to come down. We on level 1,000 and we're going to come down to level 200 to be on your level. No, mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Just understanding our worth and our value means a lot. And I really think that's the key. I really think that's the secret of both a high value woman and man, is knowing who you are and knowing your worth. That way you ain't going to take anything less than. You know what I mean? So I love both. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with these 20-year-old DL. They doing good. They doing good.
Another thing too, though, some people think just because you're high value and know what you want, that they sometimes call that, because I've been called stuck up before or bougie or whatever. No, right. If me knowing what I want and knowing that I'm not going to settle for less, that you want to call me bougie based off of that, then so be it.
Absolutely.
You said knowing your worth is really important, because there's so many people out there, they know their worth, but due to what they're around, they settle.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I had someone tell me that I was a Ruth Chris chick, and I was probably way too much. They needed a McDonald's one because they can flex with a McDonald's. So again, like, she probably gonna want Ruth Chris every night. And guess what? I'm not even a fancy person either. Like, I'm not a foodie. But that was their way of describing of what they saw of me, and not even really even getting to know me. So then, I know this is off the cuff. Do you think people miss opportunities because they judging? Oh, you already judge a person, and maybe you're afraid to even say hello, or even take on different even friendships, because you already done sum them up, thinking they're one thing in your mind, and you can totally miss an opportunity.
I totally agree with you. Yeah. I feel like some people do prejudge other people based off of Instagrams, and social media is, like he said, so relevant in today's time. You probably think this person got it all going on together, but deep down, you don't know what they're going through in their everyday life. It's like
Absolutely.
the only way you know a person is if you communicate, and that's what's wrong with society now. They don't communicate enough.
Well, I'm going to push back on Mrs. Davis, and I'm going to push back on Mrs. McDonald as well, and this is where the man comes in. And let me scoop my chair up. Let me scoop my chair up and sit up, all the way in my grout hoodie. One, everybody judges, right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
if I go to your page, mama, and I say, okay, this is a travel, this is someone that likes to do, she's adventurous. I'm going to sum up based off of what you're choosing to put out there. Imani, if I see your page, I'm like, okay, this is a young stunner. This is somebody out here. Like, oh yeah, you better come with it. This can't be no average Joe that's gonna be able to. There's a certain quality of duty she's probably going to attract. That is one that is going to assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's not. I don't think assuming it is. I think judging it, as a lot of times society has been too absolute as far as having a negative connotation, instead of just, hey, this is what I'm reading. It might be right, it may not be right, but when do we take accountability and be like, okay, but this is what I'm choosing to put out there? So if you're going to put out certain images, certain videos, or a certain social media presence that you're uploading, that you're clicking, that you're willing to share with your thousands of followers or whatever, then you're allowing people to take their conclusions. And a lot of times you are leading and hold their hand to get to a certain conclusion that you want them to be. Like, if I tag ESPN in my bio, which I have done, that means I want people to know that I have a career in sports, right? If I'm constantly posting a podcast, I'm leading people to see that, hey, I love my mother. We have established something, and I want people to be able to watch. I watch what I share. I watch what posts I like. I watch what posts that I comment on, right? I watch some of the posts I even make. I haven't made a post on since May, because I want to wait to when I make that post, I want to show like, yeah, I'm back, and I'm back and better. Not that I ever fell off. I was just saying this is when I make that post, I didn't want it to be an ESPN post. I want it to be something different that embodied the growth of being, in my opinion, a young man to a man. And so we can't sit up here and act like that. People aren't. We're not wanting people to look at us a certain way. Can we be honest on the podcast?
No, you're right, Christian.
Yeah.
I agree with you, because our social media is our resume in today's time. So that's perfect on how you said it. But people still judge.